She scores! Yeah! Oh wait, I thought I was alone. Oh, sorry. Hey sprinters, it's Shanae here to brighten and lighten and ignite your day. Luckily today, day 32 is practice. So I guess you just saw me practicing my free throws. And you know what? That's all about the power of acceleration. Yeah, you're probably like, hey, we're sprinting, we're not playing basketball, and we're really maybe not even sprinting around sports, so what are you doing? I'm doing what Michael Jordan used to do, one of the greatest, still considered one of the greatest all-time basketball players ever, is he would practice his free throws because that was the one thing that kept him initially from making his high school basketball team. So he'd practice specifically with his eyes closed, just visualizing. And so practice is all about perfect. Oh wait, can I try that again? I mean, practice makes perfect make practice, or practice makes perfect? How does that phrase? Well, okay, well, you get the idea, right? Okay. Luckily, because you know what? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna try that again. So, what I'm trying to say is that practice makes perfect. And that was perfect. I really liked how I said that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I am Xing, making an X there, because I am marking the spot, because that was a practiced, perfect practice I just said, okay? So, if I'm totally confusing you, that's okay. I'm supposed to, because today's just practice, right? I haven't really rehearsed what I'm going to say because I'm live and I am really modeling what we're talking about. So actually, what I was modeling was very intentional, and it comes from the Little Book of Talent by Daniel Cole, 52 Tips for Improving Your Skills. And he says developing talent is all about growing the brain through intense practice. So one of the things I'm really intense about is when I read things that I really try to remember it and wire it into my brain. So how I practice is through writing and journaling, etc. So he had the 52 tips. So what I did here in my book journal is I took notes on all the 52 tips because I knew at some point they would be valuable for me, my boys, and for you, because practice is really where it's at. The performance piece, which we'll get into next week with the power of completion, that is what Usain Bolt called the easy part. Practice is where it's at. And Bo Eason said, you have to have a crazy relationship with practice to really be able to perform. Okay, so I was modeling a few of those practice tips, some of the 52 he had. So one of them was the eyes closed, tip number 27. He said, Michael Jordan practiced free throws with his eyes shut. It sweeps distraction and engages the senses. And of course there's been studies done on just basketball players, you know, either actually practicing free throws, just visualizing it and doing this kind of thing, or no practice. And those who visualize it, either through their mind, their body, are almost as good as those who actually practice. Of course, those who did nothing didn't improve. So that's one of the tips, is when you practice, you know, think about doing it with your eyes closed. And oftentimes I'll do this before I do training. I'll just close my eyes and I'll really think about a section or a way that I can really connect with people. So that's an important one. We have tip number 26 is to slow it down. That means if you're practicing something, so say like you were doing a musical instrument, and if you really had to do it in slow motion, can you remember? And since I do love basketball, and my boys are all learning to play basketball, I've really had to slow things down like okay, here's how I did 3 throws to remember. And when you have to slow it down and back up step by step, that takes practice, but it really makes you understand it on a deeper level, because that's what this is. It's having deep practice. We talked about deep work already, but this is a sense of deep practice. Let's go ahead and look at 26 was the slow it down one. 29 is when you mark the spot. So when you say or do something perfect, it's almost like put an X, as if you could keep repeating that to do that. And also the opposite is true with mistakes. Number 22 was all about, oops, pay attention immediately after you make a mistake. So the thought here is that when he studied all these hotbeds across the country, what he noticed is that people didn't just keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again. When they made a mistake, they stopped, worked on it, fixed it, and moved on. So he said it's better to take literally 5 minutes of doing one thing to get that mistake corrected first before playing a song for 20 minutes and you have 20 mistakes, versus taking the one, correcting it, moving on, and really understanding it. Okay, so this is where my boys just love me, because sometimes when we practice basketball, all I'm doing is we're practicing the footwork for a layup is step up, or lift your arm up, step, plant your foot here. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, can we shoot? Can we play a game? And I said, well, you know, we can, but if you don't ever understand how to get the fundamental of the layup down, it's going to be a long couple of seasons and years for you with basketball. So we have to kind of balance some of that, but that practice really matters. So these are just a few different examples. There's so much out there about what you can do to practice. I know myself, I just do it. And sometimes just being able to do it and get feedback and saying, okay, well, next time then I want to switch and do something different. And that's what I love about the trainings that I do. And I do them often, different topics, is that I'll practice one part and I'll be like, yeah, that part went good, or maybe I change it different. I get some feedback from my participants, and then I can enhance it and keep building it until I really can refine it in a way that I know it can really connect with people. So around your number one goal, choose 2 to 3 practice techniques, whether the ones that I showed you around visualizing with your eyes closed, practicing it till it's perfect, and then Xing the spot. The other one with being able to, once you make a mistake, keep doing it until you get it right. You know, practice in your sleep. Just keep doing it. Repetition matters. There's a ton of different ways you can practice. So pick 2 to 3 that make sense around your number one goal and practice them. And then 2, good for you, is practice them again. And 3 is key, is again and again and again. At least 5 times that amount. He said world-class performers spent 5 times as many hours practicing alone, because it develops discipline and it helps you find your sweet spot. So when nobody's looking, have fun practicing and sprinting toward your number one goal. From my heart to yours, be love.